Hello everyone, welcome to StraightA. Dawson here, back with another video here today, and I'm bringing back my power rankings. This time, you know what? I've gotten the hate. I've heard the hate. I've taken it all in. I've taken 3 weeks of football in, and you know what? You guys are right. I'm giving you my straight up rankings of who I think are the best teams right here, right now, first to last, in terms of just overall power vibes of what their trajectory is going, how good they're playing, their record, what's the possibility of them going to the Super Bowl. This is my God honest thoughts of this is what the team standards are right now. If you want to hear my explanation, you're going to hear it. So you want my explanation? I'm going to give it to you. So you're going to comment all below. You're going to see something like the Falcons are number 22. Like, why the fuck are they there? They need to be 17. Motherfucker, you're going to watch. You're going to watch and learn. I am saying timestamp of like 47 seconds right now. This portion, you were hearing me. You must watch and see what I say. Number 32, Raiders. They're the worst franchise in fucking history. The worst team right now. They're awful. Brock Bowers, the only good thing about them. The Giants right now, only slightly better because their defense is actually not that quite bad. They actually got a low-key good defensive line. But beside that, pretty poor, piss poor across the board. Jags, they are making a case for themselves as being god-awful. Mac Jones, not great. Offense can't cook. The defense is slightly okay. So, like, whatever. They're 30. Titans, what? I don't even know what to think about you. You just play, and I just don't want to watch you. So, like, cool. You're 29. Mason Rudolph is your quarterback right now. Great. 28, Bryce Young and the Panthers actually showing some momentum, actually showing that maybe they're not like the worst team in the world, just like the second or third or the fourth, or in this case, the fifth worst team in the world. No, the Panthers actually on offense are cooking a little bit. Their defense is actual poverty, and their offense still is pretty shaky. Patriots, pretty solid team, actually. I think they are very competitive. Their defenses can at least hold some teams to some lower points in closer games, not like against really good teams or division games apparently, but the defense for the Patriots hasn't been performing awful. Then you got the Drake May, and the offense has in general been functioning pretty well, at least getting around the 14 to 17 points consistently without too many mistakes. Jets, I mean, as much as I hate them, their record's awful. They do have they have a great offense. Their defense has good spurts, not very much, just barely. The Saints at 25, I debated them putting the Jets or the Saints kind of above each other. You can kind of debate 23, 24, 25, 26, to be honest with you. I put Saints at 25 because I think their defense actually has been performing decently well against better teams. It's just they kind of crumble in one quarter. Their offense with Derek Carr has been pretty good. Spencer Rattler, though, I think could be a nice improvement. And they have, I don't know. I feel like they got some momentum on their side. So I'm going to go with them at 25. Browns at 24 purely because I think everything but the quarterback position is great. 23 is the Bears. The Bears with Caleb Williams. Pretty solid overall. I think they're just not like, they perform very well in spurts. And they've been performing very well in the last couple weeks. But I'm not convinced just yet. They have had a pretty low floor. But their ceiling has been pretty decently high as well this season. So we'll see how they actually perform later on. Falcons at 22, I mean, they are on a downhill trajectory, I'll tell you what. If there wasn't, like, easily 10 teams that were below them because they've just been performing so bad, the Falcons could be one of the worst teams in the NFL, but they just so happened to stumble into Bijan Robinson, and their defense isn't half bad. Cardinals, also a team that could be sneaky a little bit higher, maybe above the Colts or Seahawks. Maybe top 20, but their offense is the only thing that's cooking. Defense is not. Colts, very well-rounded team. Anthony Richardson is really the biggest question mark and the only question mark, which kind of punishes them. But honestly, the Colts have a pretty good roster outside of that quarterback position. The Seahawks, kind of, again, one of those teams that's kind of going downhill trajectory. Geno hasn't been playing well. DK's now out, irrelevant. The defense has been playing So, Seahawks kind of been falling down a little bit. They're at 19. Dolphins, this is, neutral weather. I'm not going to consider that because at this point in the season, they could easily be worse if it's a snow game, but they could also be a top 10 team if it's a warm game. So I think 18 is a very fair spot. They play well in spurts, but they're really banged up. So take that as you will. I want to see a little bit more from them, though. Cowboys at 17 is pretty fair. I know that their record isn't very good. They've been losing pretty good games, but their defense is actually showing revitalization. Cooper Rush hasn't been performing that bad with the team, and overall, I think the team can still win games, just not against good teams. 16 is the Bengals. Again, despite what anybody would say or think, they have the best offense in football. Pure and simple to the point. The defense just sucks. So, I mean, at the very least, the Bengals know they can put up 30 points a game against any team. It's whether their defense is going to allow, 6 scores in a game. Chargers at 15, definitely my biggest riser. I'm getting higher on the Chargers every day. I just think they're young. I think their defense is a little overblown. And I think that Justin Herbert, while he has been playing okay, hasn't been playing as well as people have been stating he has. The run game's non-existent, and the O-line's okay at best. It's really the receivers that are doing a lot of work. And Justin Herbert, like I said, is leading that team, so give him some credit. I just think that people are a little too high on him. Granted, they beat my Broncos twice, so maybe I'm the fool. But either way, going to put the Chargers at 15. 49ers at 14. Despite them being banged up, despite all this going on, despite their losses, they are still one of the top 15 teams in the NFL. Is that a little crazy? Probably. I'm putting them at 14, though. I still think with Brock Purdy there, even with the limited roster they do have, they still compete very, very well. And I think in the off chance that Deebo Samuel actually becomes alive again and Trent Williams actually comes healthy, this team is easily a top 10 type team possibility. 13, the Commanders. I mean, they beat bad teams. Straight and to the point, you're top 16 if you can beat bad teams. They do struggle against what's called good teams, but they also suffer a lot from the Chargers kind of epidemic here of they're a little bit better than the Chargers right now because I believe there's a lot more talent surrounding that roster right now, but they still have a lot of young pieces that kind of hurt the core. So Commanders are a little bit debatable, but I think they're still at least in this range. Rams at 12, they have been showing such great momentum recently. Their offense is explosive and amazing. Their defense is either the best thing in the world, and it's not really the best thing in the world. It's either really, really bad or like kind of passable. There's not much in between, but the Rams, needless to say, on offense have been scoring points and keeping themselves in games. 11, the Broncos. I kind of took in the factor of the Chargers game. I kind of didn't because it's technically going into Week 16 power rankings. But Broncos overall, very solid team. Their defense really cares a lot, but their offense can be very, very explosive. They just had to play all 4 quarters of football. I still think they're easily a top 14 team, though I could see you, if you want to make the case and say that the Chargers and Broncos should swap around and they should be somewhere in the 11-15 range, but maybe 13 and 14 or 12 and 14, whatever. You can make that case. I'm not going to argue with you. Vikings, I got to be honest. I had to move them up. Their defense is amazing. Sam Darnold's playing great. The Vikings are a top 10 team. I still am not ready to put them in the top 5 conversation because, if you sit here and tell me that legitimately the Vikings are better than the Ravens, Chiefs, Lions, Bills, or Eagles, definitely, you're crazy. If you say they're better than the Steelers, you're crazy. You can almost make a case for the Bucks or Texans, and I will not hear an argument about the Packers. The Packers may not have as good of a record. They're one win behind. The Packers have also played way better teams. Vikings have played pretty okay teams here and there, but they have not had the schedule the Packers have, and the Packers have been playing very consistently good football, while I think the Vikings have had very low points at least a couple times in the season and have skated away from more than one game barely. So take that as you will. The Bucks at 9, I will not hear an argument here. The Bucks offense is actually something special. The Bucks offense has been cooking with Mike Evans back and healthy, and the defense has been playing up to standards. So, remember the Chargers game, 40-17? Offense cooked, defense limited the Chargers. Very good game from them. Texans at 8, though. I almost put them lower, but they're getting wins, and their defense is damn good. And their offense is not awful. It's just, okay. So, Texans at 8. Steelers at 7. As much as I hate them sometimes, their defense is one of the best in the league. Russell Wilson has been making that offense operational, and I can't deny the run game can be hit or miss, but I think it's more hit than miss, at least throughout the season. Maybe recently not as much. I still think the Steelers deserve the 7 spot. Packers at 6. Again, they play very consistent, very good football. And even Jordan Love, he's been just fine. He hasn't been playing amazing football, but he's been playing what he needs to get them wins. Josh Jacobs is amazing. That defense is amazing. The Green Bay Packers in general are the status of a good team in general. I think they're the most well-rounded team in the NFL probably. The Ravens at 5, though, they have their peaks and lows. I don't think they make a big playoff run. They maybe get a win or two. They don't make it to the Super Bowl, though. They just have too many highs and lows. Derrick Henry's fallen off a little bit the last couple weeks against good defenses. It makes me a little nervous for him, so I'm keeping them at 5. Kansas City Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, they find wins. They just don't look good doing it. Number 4. Meanwhile, the next 3 teams do find wins, and they look good doing it. The Lions can put up 40 points any given week, but their defense will let up 40 points any given week. So, take that as you will. Lions go down a couple spots because of that fact of, they let up. Their defense is, not doing awesomely well. Bills at number 2. I genuinely think that if it wasn't for the Eagles, the Bills may be one of the best teams in recent memory generally. But now the Eagles, I just realized, are probably the best well-rounded team in the NFL, but just to a higher degree than the Packers. I genuinely think the Eagles and Bills, this would be a fun Super Bowl to watch, number one. Number two, these are the best two rosters in the NFL, easily. The only reason the Eagles are above the Bills is because of record, and I should say the weapons. The Eagles have the weapons, and the Eagles have just as good defense as Buffalo, have just as good as O-line as Buffalo. And I would say Josh Allen's a way better quarterback, but evens out. And I still think the weapons around Jalen Hurts are way better than what Josh Allen has. So I'm putting the Eagles at number one, Bills at number two. Those two are pretty interchangeable, though, I'll be honest with you. And the Eagles, again, have the second best record in the NFL, tied with the Lions and the Vikings. Take that as you will. I mean, they win games. They look good doing it. And I can't deny the results from it so far. I'm putting the Eagles at number one for now. Hope you do enjoy the video, and I'll see you on the next one.